Ramdas said, bring the boy on to me. The boy was taken by Ramdas on his lap, and he said, later on, the boy came to life. That also, this instance was recited before Baba later on in 55. And Baba said it was true. So that was that. Now, I'll tell you the meeting about with various Mandali people in the beginning. So I'll tell you, I met with Kohiyar and Rano and of course all AH and Pain Men Mandali. I was reading and meeting them. They were telling me all the stories about Baba and recite. One day, my daughter Zareen had a great urge to meet Baba. And Zareen, I remember, was hardly 6 years old then. And she wanted to meet Baba. Now, it was a child's urge, and I took her to Baba's place. But then Baba would not sort of meet anyone. And I said, I told her, how could Baba meet you? Then she said, never mind. So we went, I remember, with the younger daughter also, Armati, taking in the pram car. We walked over there, and then Kohiyar came out, and Kohiyar said, look, these children have come. And she took Zareen. Zareen was taken inside the Baba house, and Baba took Zareen in his arms and took inside, and she was taken to the women Mandali inside. And Zareen then later on came very happy and jumping about, look what Baba has given me. And Baba had given her a very big shiny apple, and she was beaming and so happy, immensely happy meeting Baba. And Baba had kissed her and embraced her, and all this sort of thing must have happened inside. So that's one instance. And then there was Peter, and there was our Shiva. Peter was the favorite dog of Baba, and whenever we went by Baba's house in Satara, this Peter would come wagging his tail, playing about with children, and of course the Shiva was there, and Shiva would also neigh and feel happy to meet children. Children would go and caress Peter. They had the privilege to go and caress Shiva and kiss Shiva, Shiva's horse. And that was in Satara. That was all I can remember about. There are so many other stories, big and small affairs that I remember. I'll keep on telling you one by one. Now what should I forget? One day in Satara, a local man, he was a priest, got interested in meeting Baba. And he said, please, since you go to Baba every day, please try and get me in touch with Baba. I want to see Baba very keenly. I conveyed the message to Baba. And Baba told me, look, I would meet him, but on condition that I will meet him in Bombay. So I said, Baba, this man is here in Satara, and I don't know how he can meet you in Bombay. But anyway, I conveyed the message to the man. And later on, it so happened that this man was in Bombay at the time when Baba was giving his darshan in Bombay. And I knew about the man being in Bombay. So I was made to go to him at his residence in Bombay and got him, and he met Baba. And he felt immensely happy. And he says, Baba is the avatar, and Baba is the God-man. And he said, I tell you on authority, because what Baba is. That's what the incidents I remember about in 55. Then that's the story. When Baba came over here to Mahabaleshwar and met me in Ripon Hotel first, he said, well look, he came over to the room where I reside, and walked over the entire room. And in fact, he walked over the entire Ripon Hotel premises and all. He got very much interested. And he said, look, I want you to be ready for Westerners, because a lot of Westerners will be coming over to Ripon Hotel. First, they would come in just a trickle, then a steady stream, and then there will be a time, there will be a flood of Westerners of Baba mine coming to this place. So be sure and get ready for it. In fact, previously I brought out a tourist guide of Mahabaleshwar, and Baba knew about this book, and Baba said, get a new book printed and with a picture of mine in this book, so that all the Westerners coming over to Mahabaleshwar will be interested and looking at the book. And so put some, and I remember he said, also get a picture of mine in that book. Now that was in 56. You will see how I love Baba, because I'm such a useless man, because this is 75, and as yet I have not published the book, and not even got the Baba's picture printed in it. But I want to do it, and I want to do it thoroughly now, and it shall be done, which I promise you all. That was book, and not even got the Baba's picture printed in it. But I want to do it, and I want to do it thoroughly now, and it shall be done, which I promise you all. That was that. Then there was, when Baba walked over to the room, there was a parrot in a cage. And I said, Baba, would you like me to get this parrot free? I'll free him if you like. No, Baba said, wait. There will be a time when I'll get it free. So one day, when the cage was being washed, the maidservant kept the door open, and the parrot flew off. This is a small story, but that's the fact. I was in Satara, and I got a letter from my brother, who then happened to be the military attaché in Tehran, Iran. And he said that his job was finished, and he would like me to say what I would like him to bring from Iran for him. So I was not interested in getting anything from Iran. But whereas Baba was there, I said, Baba, my brother is coming over from Iran. Would you like to get anything from Iran? He said, what would I like? The whole world is in my hands. Anyway, he says, I love pomegranates from Iran, and ask him to get lots of them for me. So one day, a small basketful of pomegranates at last arrived, and I felt very happy that at least my brother remembered what to bring, and I took them to Baba. Baba said, what have you brought? I said, pomegranates from Iran. So few. And then Baba looked at the size and watched them. Baba didn't feel happy at all. Said, look, you better write to your brother that these pomegranates are not from Iran. These have been bought over from the boat after the boat left the outskirts of Iran. And he brought lots of them, a bag full of them in fact. And then he distributed quite a few of them to all his friends and relatives, and the remaining lot he has sent to me. I wrote to my brother, and after a few days I get the reply. He says, we were shocked and amazed that exactly it was so. He had brought a bag full of these pomegranates, and in fact he had not bought the pomegranates in Iran, and he had bought them on a ship, exactly as Baba had said. And then he sent apologies for Baba, and he felt very bad about the instance. That was that. One day, when 58, when Baba was here in China, bought them on a ship, exactly as Baba had said. And then he sent apologies for Baba, and he felt very bad about the instance. That was that. One day, when 58, when Baba was here in Shapurol, he asked me to get quite a lot of people for mass darshan. So many people came from various places, and then my parents would not come till the very late. He stopped the darshan. He said, "No, I want your parents anyhow. I'm going to meet your parents today." And so he said, "Go over to your house and get your parents." And I was on the point of going when my parents came. Baba felt very happy. Baba embraced my father and caressed my brother also. He, as far as I remember, he kissed my brother on both the cheeks and told him that he will do some important work for Baba. My other brother is a very high official in the government of India, and he's a very highly placed official. I don't know what work Baba meant for him. In his own way, he might be doing some important work. So that was that. In Satara one day, Baba asked me to get all the Parsis of that town, because Baba wanted to meet them. And Parsis are, some of the Parsis are not very friendly to Baba. And I had to even bring the priest to Baba. But Baba may have desired it, and then I went round to all the houses of Parsis. There are few houses, hardly about 25 houses at that time. And I went round to all the Parsi houses, and they came over to Baba. They met Baba, and Baba told them about the sadra and the kasti. You know the sadra, the Parsis wear on, is the garment, sadra. And the kasti, the twine, which they wind round themselves around with on the sadra. So, at the time of saying these prayers, they take out the kasti every time, and then recite the prayer, and then re-put on the kasti. So Baba said, "Now look, you are reciting Zoroastrian prayers, and you are remembering God and all this sort of things, though in an innocent way. You don't know what the fire temple is meant, and you don't know the meaning of the fire. The real fire is within yourself, and the spark, the divine spark, is within yourselves. You kindle the spark, and there will be a flame, and incidentally there will be a whole huge fire in that. That is your own fire within yourself." That's what Baba said. And that is there will be a whole huge fire in that. That is your own fire within yourself. That's what Baba said. And that is not the symbolic fire which you have in the fire temple. So that's that.
What did the priest say to that?
Priest made a very wry face about it, and he wouldn't just believe in that sort of a thing. But anyway, he didn't ask any questions at that time. That's that. One day, it was Khordar Sal, that is Zoroaster's birthday. And as usual, it was in Satara. I went to Baba just in my normal clothes. I did not put on any new clothes as we were required to, because it was Zoroaster's birthday. Well, I said, I don't need any new clothes. I'm going to God himself. Why should I need any new clothes? And my wife was very disturbed with that sort of a thought. He's going to Baba, not in the shabby clothes, and we had a bit of an argument at home. So I went to Baba just like that, as I told you, And then Baba asked me, what happened? You seem to be disturbed. I told the instance. I said I had a bit of an argument with my wife Rati, and she didn't like the way I've come. Baba said, you have to be ashamed of yourself. Why did you not put on new clothes? This is Kordar Sal, that is my birthday, and you have to have dressed according to what your wife said. He said, now go and call your wife. So I had to go about half a mile away and and had to bring Rati along with me. Says, did Kohiyar behave with you like this? You're perfectly right in chiding him and asking him to put on the new clothes. But especially so, look Rati, look at his pants. Who has put on the stitches on the pants? Rati says, well, I have put on the stitches on the pants. You have put on the stitches on the pants, but you have not put the right color. She says, look, you have stitched on the pants with white thread, whereas the pant is blue in color. You had to use the right color at least for that pant. So that was that. And then we had a big laugh about it. Then one day, again in Satara, it so happened that Baba had called me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I reached Baba's house very late, about half an hour late. So Baba asked me, he says, what had happened? He made a hand like this. He says, was there a fight? Was there a fight? I said, yes, Baba, there was a bit of an... Then Baba asked him, don't you love me? The parents replied, Baba, we like you, but we try to love you, but we just don't know what we are doing. And of course, we have got some properties and all. Then Baba said, what are you going to do with all these properties? Aren't you going to help Kohiyar with all this? Then he said, yes, of course, Baba. That is all meant for him and his children. But look, Baba said, even if you don't want to, and if you press Kohiyar like this, I am God. I can hold him on in my hands like this. That's what Baba said. That's what I remember. And some years back, only about 3 years back, 3-4 years back, my father-in-law died, and the will came in our hands. In this will, all the properties which Rati and Shiraz was to own, that's my son and my wife were to own, were given away in charity, and none of it was to come to my wife or my son, and they were left without inheriting any property. Now, naturally, this being a question of property, I had to refer the matter to some important lawyer in Bombay. And incidentally, I know one lawyer friend. He is a first consul in Bombay, Kharshedji Bhaba. He is a very important man in Bombay, a very important lawyer in Bombay. I wrote a letter to him and sent him a copy of the will. Now this Kharshedji was so very kind to me that he traveled all the way from Bombay to here. Incidentally, he happens to be my neighbor. He stays in the bungalow next door. And he says, look, don't you worry at all about this will. I assure you, none of these properties of Rati's will ever go, because the will has been bungled, and only you check up whether this will has been registered and whether he has deposited this will with the registrar of properties. And he made me run down to Satara to find out what had actually happened. And I rushed to Satara and rushed back in the evening after finding out that the will was not registered. And under a certain section of the Charities Act, whenever a rich Parsi dies, he has got to make the will at least 2 years before his death, which was not so. And so the whole will was funked off. And Baba willed it that the entire property remains with my wife and in the Shiraz, and it remains in the family. So that's how it was. So I remember the challenge which Baba had put out to him, that even if you press them down, I am the man who can, I am God man who can hold the man in my hand. But the accident which occurred in 1956, I remember the date, 2nd of December 1956. It was a very gloomy day, overcast sky, and it was an eclipse of the sun day, and a very gloomy day indeed. And it was slightly drizzling also all day, here in Mahabaleshwar at least. And the next day, somebody wakes me up and says, early in the morning, so come on now, wake up. Baba has sent a message for you. He wants you to rush to Satara immediately. And the bus was leaving, and I had to rush to Satara. And what I find out was there was this huge accident in which Baba was injured, Nilu had dropped his body, Erich was injured, Pendu was injured very badly, and so I rushed to the hospital. I see Erich and Pendu in immense pain, and then I wanted to find out whereabouts of Baba. So somebody told me that Baba was in the Grafton bungalow. That was the Lady Mandali's quarters where Baba was residing. And I rushed there, but I was not allowed to meet Baba, but I see Bhau. And Bhau said Baba had instructed to check up who had come to inquire about him. Then I asked him how Baba was, and he told me how the accident was nasty, and how Baba had come full of blood and all that sort of thing. It was a very frightening and a very sad instance which I remember. And of course, from that time, Baba left of Satara, and I was not able to contact Baba for quite some time because he was rushed off to Pune, or I think where it was, I don't know. And of course, Erich and Pendu were hospitalized for a very, very long time. Later on, in 1958, when Baba was just able to walk about with the help of crutches or sticks, when he was here in Shapur Hall, Baba evinced an interest in seeing that accident site. So he said, will you please take me to this accident site? And we drove over to the place where the accident had occurred, and I had to show him the exact spot where the accident had occurred. And Baba walked about a few spaces back and forth, and he walked about back and forth, and he says, I don't want to take a single step towards Satara. I don't know what it meant, but that was so. And connected with this very spot of this accident, there is a story that Baba, and he walked about back and forth, and he says, I don't want to take a single step towards Satara. I don't know what it meant, but that was so. And connected with this very spot of this accident, there is a story that Baba had played a cricket match between his Mandali and some of Baba lovers at just in front of that spot. That was in 55, and Baba had said this spot would come in prominence. At the time of the match, Baba had said this to someone, and I was not there at the time of the match, and Baba had told the Mandali about it, and the Mandali later on told me that that was so. And I think the accident made that spot very prominent, because after all it's a holy spot where Baba had dropped his blood. So that was in that story of the accident which I remember about. Then there is a story about obeying Baba. Baba had told me that to obey him thoroughly, and be ready for Baba's beck and call. And whenever Baba call, I should be running to Baba. So I went, whenever I could, I went to Baba. I went in 54 Savas, I went in 55 Savas, I remained throughout there, helping with all the activities and looking to all the comforts of the Savasis. I was in kitchen department, I was supervising the washing of the utensils and the cleaning of the lavatories and all these bathrooms and things and that, what was provided for the Savasis, for the Mandali and all. I had to look to that. And right in 54, 55, even in 58, then in 62 at Pune, I was in charge of group of some Baba lovers from Andhra, and I looked to their comforts and food and all that sort of arrangements. Now, in 65, Baba had his last gathering, East and West gathering, I think it was, and I was called. No, 62 I was there, but in 65 again I was called in first week of May. Now incidentally in 65, first week of May it was, and this Ripon Hotel was crowded with visitors. We had 100 and more visitors here, and I was required to look to their comforts and look to their food and all that sort of thing. So I just couldn't manage to go to Baba for quite some days. Then the first day went by, I couldn't go. I was very eager to go, but I couldn't go. The second day, the third day, and I just couldn't go. And I said, on the last day, I said, I must go, whatever it is, I want to go. The second day, the third day, and I just couldn't go. And I said, on the last day, I said, I must go, whatever it is, I want to go, and I went. Hiring a taxi, taking along with me my family, and went to the Savas. And when I reached Pune, I was shocked to find the pandals empty, Baba nowhere to be seen, and it was a very grim and desolate scene for me at least, because I could see none of Baba lovers there. I said, what could have happened? He said, someone told me that the Savas has ended and Baba has stopped seeing people now anymore. So you have come so late as that? Baba had been anxiously awaiting for you to come. And I was very disappointed, sorely disappointed. Children were disappointed. My wife was in a crying mood. Says, what could have happened? See how late we were. And then suddenly Pendu and Neeraj come out. He says, Baba wants you in, come in. So Baba is in Guru Prasad inside his usual room, and he says, come over, Baba wants you. And then at least I felt a little happy that I will have a glimpse of Baba at least. So we went in. Baba said, why did you not come? I have been very anxiously awaiting your arrival, and I've been so anxiously awaiting. I had kept everything ready for you. I wanted to reward you with everything. But you didn't come in time. Anyway, you are lucky that you have come at least now. Bow down to me and embrace me. And I embraced Baba, and my children and Rati and all embraced Baba. We bow down to him. And we had those few minutes, last precious few minutes with Baba. And that was all. That was in 65. I met Baba for the last time, and the last glimpse of Baba I had. And I think after that, I completely lost touch with Baba. Of course, letters used to come and telegrams used to come, but I was not privileged to meet Baba again after 65, though it was very sad. Of course, I saw Baba in the grave. Of course, it was a very sad sight indeed. But so I lost Baba for 4 years completely. His end of 4 years may have been very interesting, but I couldn't see Baba at all in those 4 years. That's that. One day in Satara, Baba had asked for a Qawwali program. And Qawwal, that is a man who recites the Qawwalis, was sent for Pune, and Meherji brought him along with him. And I don't know what happened on that day, but I remember something went wrong, and the men Mandali did something wrong, which Baba didn't like. On that day, but I remember something went wrong, and the men Mandali did something wrong, which Baba didn't like it. And this Qawwali was being recited in the Baba quarters and not in the men Mandali quarters. And the men, even I was there, were required to go to Baba's house and Baba's room and listen to the Qawwalis. So I don't know what wrong happened, I really myself don't know. But then Baba all of a sudden says, you have been very naughty, all of you today, and you have not behaved in the proper way, the way I like you to behave. And there was quite a bit of an argument between Adi and Baba, and I don't know what was going inside. And Baba looked in a very perturbed mood, in a very angry mood, and he says, now I want you all. I remember even there was Ramju Bhai, who was a very senior member of the Mandali, and Adi, and all of you, now you bow down here and rub your noses and repent for all what you have done. And I don't know what I was doing for and why I was rubbing my nose, but I was made to rub the nose there on the floor 3 times. So that was it was a very funny instance though. And that's that, for disobeying Baba perhaps. One day in 1955 Savas, Baba asked me to show off the sparrows from his hall, the main hall in Meherabad, you know. And the sparrows were making a nuisance, making the nest of theirs right behind Baba's some of the pictures. So I was asked to show off those things, and they were very sort of adamant. They were not prepared to leave their nest, and they would not like their nest to be disturbed and all this sort of thing. So I was showing them off and trying to get their nests out of the behind the frames. So whilst I was doing this, in walks Erich and Baba. Says, what are you doing here? What are you supposed to do? I said, I'm showing off the sparrows according to your order, Baba. Says, what have you done? You have shooed off the flies, but at the same time you have disturbed the frames. Look at the frames you have done. You have just made them topsy-turvy. And Baba felt very annoyed on me. He said, now Erich, ask Kohiyar to pack off today only. And I felt very disturbed. I said, Baba, I've done something wrong, I'm sorry, but I didn't mean. Then Erich said, Baba, please pardon him. We asked him to do this, and that was that. That was that incident in 55, showing off the sparrows.
What do you think the meaning of that was?
Well, the thing is this, it happened to be Baba's, I remember the picture was Baba's, picture of the picture was in a very topsy-turvy condition, which Baba naturally did not like. Of course, I don't know what the meaning was about it, but then Baba may have said that I was in a very frolicking mood and not in a serious mood, and that was not the occasion for that sort of a mood, so which Baba didn't like. In 1955, during the Savas, of course, as I told you, I was required to look after the comforts of the Savasis and whoever came and all this sort of thing. Now, in the Mandali, there was one Krishnaji. Now, this Krishnaji was supposed to be looked after by Bhau, Kalchuri. And Baba had given special instructions to Bhau to look after Krishnaji, and Bhau was told that this is a very important member of the Mandali and look after him properly. and do whatever it tells. Don't fail in your duties to look after Krishnaji. He is a very important person to me. Now Bhav, you know, is a graduate, and this Krishnaji appeared to be a very not so important person. He had, of course, a beard and long hair. He looked like a sadhu, and he wanted to appear like a sadhu. And it was at times Bhav felt very annoyed and amazed at why this sort of instruction should come out. So, this Krishnaji started giving vague orders. He says, now polish my slippers and do my bed. To Bhav he says, sweep my room, and all this sort of instructions went on. And then he gave instructions, and he said, bring my food and more sugar for my tea, and all this sort of instructions came on, sometimes so very annoying for Bhav and even degrading for Bhav. So one day Bhav and myself made a plan. He said, now this my name coincides with a very important doctor's name in Bombay. So Bhav and I made a plan how to stop him of eating more rice and taking more sugar. So I borrowed Dr. Donkin's stethoscope and his blood pressure instrument and whatnot, and all this torch and all this sort of things. And Bhav went to her, Krishnaji, this happens to be the famous doctor from Bombay, and would you like yourself to go get examined from? Oh yes, he said, why not? He says, tell this doctor everything about your ailments. So I made a pretense of it, and he says, tell this doctor everything about your ailments. So I made a pretense of it, and I said, look, Krishnaji, take out your tongue. He takes out a big, huge tongue like this, and then I said, let me feel your pulse. Look, I said, you need a thorough checking, Krishnaji. And well, I said, but you know, this is Baba's service, and this is not the right time for it. I should better take you to Bombay in my clinic and get you thoroughly examined, where your stools and urine and blood and everything should be properly thoroughly examined. He says, no, yes, you are such an important doctor, and I have heard of you so much that you better tell me right now what is wrong with me. Now, so I start with his blood pressure. I said, now come on, let me take your blood pressure. Then I made him walk quite a long distance, the whole passage of that Meherabad veranda. And poor fellow, he walks about now, he said, faster and faster and run. And then I check and recheck his blood pressure. And I said, look, there is definitely something wrong with you. Then I said, look, you must be taking lot of rice and lot of sugar. From now on, you stop taking sugar and rice. And Bhav later on told me that he did stop taking sugar and rice, and poor Bhav was relieved, because you know this Mandali's rations were really rationed in those days. They had very meager rations, and Bhav was puzzled as to how to get extra rice for this Krishnaji, because he happened to be South Indian and he wanted more rice, and there was a problem for getting him more rice. So the plates of the other Mandali members had to be emptied out to give out more rice to this Krishnaji. So now that was that. But now, coming to this instance, I want to tell you that Krishnaji was moving about with us and moving about with Baba and all that sort of things. But one day, his behavior became so annoying even to Baba, and somehow Baba came to know about this Krishnaji giving trouble to Bhav and making poor Bhav, make him sweep floors and polish his shoes and wash his utensils and all that sort of menial jobs. So one day Baba called Bhau and said, I hear that you are doing all these menial jobs for Krishnaji. What do you mean? I said, Baba, it was your instructions and I am doing it. He says, no more of this now. Stop. Do you know who you are? This man, now you stop all this. And he called this Krishnaji. Is it true that you are making poor Bhav do all these duties for you? He said, yes, Krishnaji. Now, Baba told Krishnaji, now it's enough. Enough of that you are making poor Bhav do all these duties for you? He said, yes, Krishnaji. Now, Baba told Krishnaji, now it's enough. Enough of your tomfoolery. I don't want anything of you and I don't want you see your face anymore. You get out as you are from this Mandali. And he says, Baba, I have not washed my clothes and the clothes are wet. And how could I leave without my clothes getting dry? Baba said, this very minute you must clear out in this very state. So the poor fellow was made to clear out of the Mandali quarters without bath and all this. And in those dripping clothes, he was made to go out of the Mandali quarters. And that's that. Now, why I tell you this Krishnaji story is this. Now this very Krishnaji is in the States and he is posing as a very important master by himself. He has got his own following and he poses as the divine master. I don't know what it is, but that is that. Now that was the Krishnaji what we know of, and he had made a nuisance of himself in Delhi also, where he had committed some wrong things, where he was sent by Baba to do some Baba work, and avoiding Baba work, he has posed himself as a very important person and connected with Baba. He was asking people to bow down to him and he was giving prasad to so many people and all that sort of thing, which of course Baba came to know of, and Baba specially sent Kumar of Dehradun to see what was being done. Then he had come in contact with Krishnaji had come in contact with some woman, and that Kumar came to know about it, and Kumar incidentally got them married in Delhi. So that was that. Now this Krishnaji, as I told you, is in the States and is posing as master by himself, and he has got a group of his own people there. So that's that. Now that comes to me. That was in 55 when Baba was in seclusion, and one day, even in very strict seclusion, one day Eresh tells me that Baba had wanted me to go and meet him in his seclusion all by myself, and where nobody would be there but Eresh and myself. So the Baba asked me, have you done anything wrong? Have you ever committed a theft? Have you, tell me frankly, now here you are before me, tell me frankly. So I said, Baba, I don't remember of anything, but then there were some instances of misbehavior, and which I told Baba, and Baba got very annoyed with my misbehavior. Instances of misbehavior, and which I told Baba, and Baba got very annoyed with my misbehavior, and he says, now you get out of this place immediately. Then he says, no, first call Gustaji, and poor Gustaji was called to the place, and Gustaji was told my misbehavior and what my previous life was, how I was behaving badly and all this sort of thing, because I was black sheep of the family and I was involved in so many things. And I remember that I had not committed a theft, but I had bought a camera which was either misplaced by someone or had been taken by someone by wrong means, and which I had bought, which I ought not to have bought. And I had told Baba about it. Baba got very annoyed about this, and he says, then Gustaji says, never mind, pardon him, and I was pardoned and taken back in the Mandali. And of course, Baba said, forget the instance and all this sort of thing. And later on, of course, I was called, as you know, in 55 and 58 Savas and 62 Savas and all the Savases, of course. So that was that. Talking about Gustaji, one day, you know, Gustaji was very fond of collecting cigarette papers and matches, thrown away covers and all this sort of things, and bidi and all. He was collecting all these sort of things and laying them neatly by his bedside. So one day I slyly walked in his room and I said, this is what Gustaji is interested in. And so one day I get thrown away battery cells, some 3 or 4 battery cells, and which was incidentally Gustaji was interested in. So I slyly keep those cells by his bedside and walk away. That very afternoon, Baba called me. He says, today, of course, nobody was there, nobody was watching there, and I don't know how Baba found out. And he says, Baba says, today you have given your debts to Baba, or debts to Gustaji. You have wiped out your debts with Gustaji, and you have given away back what you owed to him. I don't know what it meant, but it was there. That was that. That's the story of Gustaji. One day in Shahpur Hall, that is next door bungalow, Baba handed me over God Speaks. He says, read it. I brought the book to my house and started reading the book. And I went over the charts, and it was all Greek and Latin to me. I couldn't make out much. I was, to be very frank, having seen Baba personally, I was not very much interested in reading over the book. After a few days, Baba said, what about God Speaks? Have you read the book? And how have you understood it? Baba, I said, I have not understood anything of it. I went over the first few pages and the charts, and it was all Greek and Latin to me. So Baba said, that's that, forget about it. And don't read any more of my God Speaks or other books in which you are not interested. But you know who I am. Of course, I said, Baba, I know. And that's that. Baba then again embraced me, and that's that. One day, this visit of Baba, this in 58, coincided with Good Friday. And I remember just next door, in our compounds below, there are missionary bungalows. And right below Shahpur Hall, there is a church. And so these missionaries come over to Baba's bungalow and the hill nearby. And early in the morning, there is a service. And that's the service, there's this sermon on the mount going on. And Baba watching it. And Baba smiling and saying, they don't know who is watching this. And then later on the Sunday service, I happened to be there, and the organ is played, and we are listening. We are all listening to this hymns and things going on. And again, Baba smiled and said, of course gesticulated, look, they don't know that who is listening to their worship. So this was in 58 in Shahpur Hall. It was a very, very funny incidents to remember. Now, one day in Satara, Baba told me that, told us all, in fact, that there will be first manifestation of Shivaji. I don't know why he said that. And you would see statues of Shivaji in every town of Maharashtra, in everywhere, even throughout India, you would see Shivaji statues. And then 20 years hence from that date, you would see my pictures everywhere. You would see pictures of Meher Baba on stamps. You would see pictures of Meher Baba on matchstick labels, bidi labels, and every shop will have Meher Baba's pictures. And so much to say that even you would see my pictures even in the gutters, and you would be disgusted to see Baba on stamps. You would see pictures of Meher Baba on matchstick labels, bidi labels, and every shop will have Meher Baba's pictures. And so much to say that even you would see my pictures even in the gutters, and you would be disgusted to see my pictures in the gutters also. People also now they would be touched. You would be touched to see my pictures being spit on, etc. But that will be the time when my real manifestation comes. That's what he told us. Now, after Baba's visit here in '56, Baba had sent me some of his books, and some of his pamphlets were being sent from all over the other centers to be kept over here. And so according to Baba's instructions, I had kept over Baba's pictures and Baba's pamphlets and photographs and all to be taken away by the visitors here, which I was following for quite some time. But one day I see a lady just tearing off one of Baba's pictures, innocently, not knowing what it was, of course, and then cleaning some dirt with it. And I was so annoyed with that instance. So from that day onwards, I removed all the pamphlets and things inside my room. I said, nothing doing, I'm not going to put any of this Baba literature anymore in my office. And I don't think these people deserve, these visitors here to the hotel deserve any of Baba things. So that was that. And then you know what happened? After some time, I get a letter from Erich. Says, do you follow the instructions of Baba, putting this pamphlets and Baba photographs in your place? And I had to answer, and I had to answer in negative, saying that I am not keeping any of these things anymore. And then I described the instance of this thing, that the lady removing the dirt with that Baba picture and destroying Baba pamphlet like that. And I think it was very disturbing to me, but Baba didn't like it, because later on Baba again sent some of a Baba Mandali and made me put Baba pictures on the wall and keep the pamphlets also for the visitors in the office. And one day Baba, I don't know why he was particular about this, keeping his pictures in the office and all. I told you about Sastra Budeva, a very old devotee of Baba. So one day Baba asked me to go and check up whether this Sastra Bude was keeping Baba pictures in his office. So I had to go to this Sastra Bude's office and check up whether there were any Baba pictures. And there were none. And I had to come and tell Baba that Sastra Bude's office and check up whether there were any Baba pictures. And there were none. And I had to come and tell Baba that there are no Baba pictures at this Sastra Bude's place. And Baba felt very disturbed with this thought. I don't know what it meant. Then one day I was asked by Baba to go over to the lady disciple of Upasni Maharaj, Godavari Mai. and she was here residing in Mahabaleshwar somewhere, and I had to go over and give a message of Baba to her, which of course I gave, and she gave me some prasad, and I came and told back her message to Baba. I don't remember what it was about, but it was that. But I tell you about this Godavari Bai because something very important happened here in this Ripon Hotel. And my uncle, who was an old man, somehow got contact with this lady, and she was invited to this Ripon Hotel in his room, and he asked me to come and welcome her, so and get prepared with her. Now there were Baba's instructions to me not to come in contact with any masters or any saints, and I remember that instructions very well. So remembering this instance, this instructions to me, I said I would not come. My uncle was very much disturbed. He says, I have now called her, and you have got to go and welcome her. I said, I won't come, but I will send my wife if you like. So I sent my wife along to my uncle's room, the next room there. And this lady comes along, and my uncle insisted, now you have got to come. What's the matter? You should at least come and respect her for a minute or so, and then walk out if you like. Now I was saying, yes, at least there is no harm in giving her respect. So I went along and walked up the few steps, and I take the steps one by one, and suddenly there was a big wham or an explosion sort of noise. I couldn't understand what it was and what the bang was about, but I said it is a warning from Baba, and I retraced my steps back and sat down in my room, and I didn't go to greet the lady. That was that. The very same year, and what the bang was about, but I said it is a warning from Baba, and I retraced my steps back and sat down in my room, and I didn't go to greet the lady. That was that. The very same year, and the same month perhaps, there was another instance. There was another saint coming from North India. He was connected somehow with the building owner, and as this man has an ashram in Pune, he wanted some of the materials of this building which were lying unused for his own ashram, and my cousin had sold these things to him. So in that connection he was coming, and the saint from north was well revered there, and I said better not come in contact with him, as Baba had warned me. But he drove here in his station wagon, and I said since he has come over here, I should go and greet him. So I was going out to greet him, but at that very minute a huge dust storm occurred, and a very nasty dust storm occurred in between me and his vehicle, and the saint himself said, go back, and I had to go back and sit inside my room. These were the two instances, and which were clear warnings to me to avoid other saints and other masters. So that was that. Now I shall tell you one instance of Baba's chair, which was the chair which my wife owned. And when Baba visited Mahabaleshwar and resided at the Shapur Hall, Baba was not comfortable in any of the chairs which were there in that bungalow at that time. So Baba asked me, can you send a nice chair for me? So I thought of that chair, and we took the chair for Baba's use. It was recently painted, and the paint was wet. And Baba started using the chair, and he liked it very much. That chair was very comfortable, one of those cane chair type. And so much so that in spite of the wet paint, Baba used it on and on. And some of the paint stuck on to his coat, and he said, "Look what you have done. You have given not only the chair to me, but some of the paint at my back on my shirt." And that was that. Then after that, Baba of course left, and the chair was brought back here. And later on, for children's education, my wife had to go down to Pune to get them their schooling. And in our Pune house, we also took this chair along. And when we took this chair along, the house, we also took this chair along. And when we took this chair along, that chair of mine became my great favorite. And I used it such a lot, so much so at Rati's annoyance, it was a great annoyance to her, that I used it and misused it so much that it broke down. The chair legs dangled and the seat got torn off and all that sort of thing. Incidentally, after about 9 years stay in Pune, we decided to come back over here again in Mahabaleshwar, and my wife and family shifted to Mahabaleshwar again. What were we going to do with the chair now? It was in a ramshackle condition, but I said, now whatever it is Baba's chair. Baba has used it so much. Let us now give it to Ramakrishna or someone who would relish it. Rati says, nothing doing. Why should you give this sort of a chair to somebody? Let us keep it. So what I did it, instead of keeping it, I said, nothing doing. Let me destroy this chair. And you know, what occurred to me, I sort of burned the chair. I said, nobody should use it now on. And I burned the chair. But it was such a bitter lesson to me that after that, a very nasty instance occurred. Where we stored up all the luggage and all the precious things of my wife and my children. There were one truckload of them. Everything so precious to her. She had some beautiful saris. They were worth a fortune. And all our utensils and things and whatnot were stored up in the hall up on the top. So now, one day, on the 2nd of August, 1968, I remember the date, a huge fire occurs in that hall. And in that hall, everything gets destroyed. Everything that we had brought back from Pune. And as I told you, very, very valuable. In that, very many Baba articles had gone. Very many of Baba letters, very precious letters from Meheraj, where there were precious instructions to me. Very lovely pictures of Baba. And everything had gone. It was heartbreaking to us all indeed. But that was that. In that fire, we lost everything. Except, as I've shown you this morning, some of 2 or 3 pictures of Baba remain, and they didn't get burnt up in that fire. And one garland of Baba, which my daughter Zareen had brought over from Pimpalgaon, and which didn't get burnt, which I have shown you, which remained very, very precious to us. Correct. I remember one instance when Baba was going to